Hello everybody, happy Friday the 13th. I've come to you today with some scary stories and sketching. This time we're probably going to be reading a little bit of the story and then seeing if I feel like drawing something from it. These drawings are going to be very silly, very goofy. Net's here too. The last one I did was just me telling a story of something that happened to me when I was on holiday in New Zealand. So like this is what we're working with, just fun. We've got some pencil crayons and some ink and pencil and marker. We're just gonna see what happens. So this one I picked some stories from Reddit, and they are all thrift store themes. So they are all scary stories that occur in thrift stores. So let's get into it. This one, the first story I'm going to tell you today, is from someone on Reddit, and their username is Chambers County 12 tag, I think. Anyway, yes, I've just got my laptop here. So the title is, I had a terrifying experience today in Goodwill of all places. Please help. It's on the encounter tag, so if that gives you a little insight. Starts. Please, no jokes. I am frightened and I am not a person who scares easily. I live alone and solo backpack deep in the woods for fun. I sleep like a baby, or I used to. Today I had one of the best days of my life. Things have really turned around for me and I was in a great mood. I loved thrift shopping, so I decided to stop at Goodwill. While I was in the housewares aisle, I had the feeling that someone was watching me. I turned around and there was only one other person in the aisle at this very crowded Goodwill. She appeared to be between 18 and 25. She was very pale with dark hair and dressed all in black. She didn't have anything in her hands. She was not holding a purse and she wasn't looking at anything except for me. Her eyes were incredibly dark. I was immediately uncomfortable. My first thought was, what is she doing here? She doesn't belong here. Then every cell of my body propelled me away from her at lightning speed. This is when the thing that really bothers me happened. I walked away from her with my cart, and then I turned my head, and she was beside me, just across the aisle. It was like she had teleported. It scared the shit out of me. I decided to leave. As I was going to leave the store, my niece and her family happened to walk in. I swear we don't have family reunions at Goodwill. This was a day of such strange coincidences. I spoke to them briefly and then I left. The woman scared me so I decided I just wasn't going to think about it anymore. I went about the rest of my day like normal until about an hour ago when my cell phone rang. It was my niece's husband, but the call would not connect. That's not super unusual because I live in the woods, so I tried to call him on my home phone. That wouldn't connect either, and that is unusual. That's when I received a text from him that said, "Hey, really odd, I know, but do you remember a young woman dressed in black/emo style at the Goodwill today? Maybe 18 to 25? I had chills all over as soon as I read that, and I was instantly viscerally terrified. I knew he had seen her too. I tried to call again, and this time the call went through. He said he had the exact same experience that I had. The soulless yet soul-staring look, the teleporting, the dread and desire to get away from her. He is a fully grown adult man with a full-time job and a family, and he typically would not be afraid of a random woman at Goodwill. I feel like it's important to mention here that my niece never saw her and thought her husband was crazy until I confirmed the story. I don't know what I saw. I don't know why my niece's husband saw it too, but she didn't. I don't know why it frightened us both so badly. I shut all of my curtains and blinds. I locked all of my doors. I lit some candles and asked for protection. I have been shaking. I am 50 years old and I am scared. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Take your time. I'll be up all night. Update. I was not up all night. I lit white candles, salted my windowsill, and said a prayer and went to sleep. I still have no idea what actually happened yesterday, but I'm going to go back to not thinking about it. It didn't come home with me, and that is enough for me. I also remember another strange experience I had several years ago. I was in an antique store when I turned the corner and I saw a man that I instinctually felt was a ghost. I walked straight to the cash register at the front and I asked the man if they had a ghost in the store. I thought he was going to laugh at me, but instead he yelled to the woman in the back, "Marie, that ghost is out here bothering people again." And that's where the story ends. So, a creepy sort of like Goodwill ghost. Let's see. We're gonna draw some shelves. I think like in the drawing of this, because I draw, it's just gonna be like light little sketches. Maybe I'll color them in if I feel like it. Maybe I won't. That it's going to sort of neutralize the ideas here. I feel like people can give their energy to things and make them more tangible, more real. So if we take this and we draw her, and maybe she's like kind of goofy looking, maybe that takes some power away. Maybe that helps. I don't know. Let's see. They said they just said that she looked like she was young and she was dressed with dark hair and she has dark hair and dressed all in black. So I'm feeling like kind of like the girl from The Ring, but who knows? What kind of things do we find at the thrift store? Like weird pottery, like that janked up kind that people make in those beginners classes. I don't know. Maybe a kettle. Let's see. Let's draw what she might look like. Is she gonna like kind of just peek out here maybe? Is that too short? Maybe she's got her little hand here. Fingers wrapped around there. And I don't know. What will she be wearing? Well, we're running out of space anyway, so it's fine. Long black hair. I also think maybe doing this kind of exercise is kind of fun. You never know if something will turn into maybe a more finished drawing, I mean, I don't know if I would say be posting and selling like images of creepy thrift store girls. I don't know. Never say never, but kind of like the idea that like maybe if you saw through the shelves and she shows you on this side, shows you herself, but like you can't see her here, like maybe that's kind of creepy spooky. You know what I mean? And I don't know, maybe she's got really dark eyes. Like, ooh, is that good? Maybe just like a little mouth. I think maybe this is as much energy I want to give this one. Let's see, I'm just gonna write Goodwill ghost on here. Is that is that horrible? It's pretty bad. It's fine. Let's move on to the next one. Okay. This second story is called I Work at Goodwill Industries, and we had some haunted items come through our donation area more than once. From Reddit user Saberi Redwolf. I think that's how you say it. This one is under the tag experience. So, to start off, I have been with the East Central Illinois area Goodwill for just under a year as of now, and have been told of at least 2 ghosts in our building, and have interacted with about 2 items people gave us out of fear they were haunted. I tried to buy the 2, but a rule on buying merchandise made me miss the chance to buy them. That sucks. The first of note was a magenta armchair, which was donated by a man who cleans out homes of elderly people who have died or are being placed in a retirement home, and the families have already pulled what they want or just want to get rid of the clutter. The man, who we'll call Jim, told me as I helped unload a small trailer of items, a family had an uncle pass away in this magenta armchair. Fairly good condition, but touching it felt strange. As he left, he chuckled out a joke, saying the family saw the uncle's shadow around the chair, so they gave it to him to donate. As I laugh and tell him I'll let him know if I see anything. The next hour, I'm moving the chair to the furniture storage area, and I keep seeing a shadow in the corner of my vision. Not even an hour on the sales floor, the chair was bought after another elderly man sat down and just ripped the price tag off and hobbled to pay for it. It's kind of rude. They said the old man hobbled. Well, maybe he did, I guess. I don't know. The second was a medium porcelain doll, because of course it was. And a side note is the store I work at gets dozens of dolls like it a week, but only this one had something else with it. As a rarer and older doll, it was in a protected glass box, and I passing joked at the family, mother and daughter, so is this glass for our protection or the doll's? To which the mother told me the doll. It was her grandmother's, putting the doll age maybe 90 years, and that it had a habit of moving cloth that was covering it. So that night before we closed, I covered the doll to challenge the claim. The next morning, we get a call from our security company saying a motion detector went off in the room with the doll, and the cloth had been turned roughly 90 degrees around. We assumed mice, but our store had mostly non-functional cameras. Not anymore, so I can't verify anything. The last item is just creepy, and I may have added a ghost to our store. But I was off the day the incident happened, so this is just a recollection from who I talked to. One afternoon, an urn was donated in a box of other vases and pottery, except this one had ashes inside. As the box with the urn and vases was being moved, my coworker, we'll call her Julie, dropped the box since she didn't have a good grip on it, and the ash went everywhere, including onto her. Quickly, they cleaned the ash, and the best they could, and tried to contact the family that donated the ashes, but I can't confirm or deny they were contacted. Just later that day, the urn and maybe 90% of the ash was taken away. I say 90% since during a deep room cleaning, more ash was found under a row of shelving that wasn't properly checked, and as far as I know, they threw the ashes out thinking it was just dust. I'll ask about the other 2 ghosts when I get back in next Tuesday. I will say I have heard stories about both, and I'm confident I have seen one on the sales floor. So that's kind of crazy. Donating an urn with ashes in it. Who does that? Let's call this one haunted item. Haunted objects. That's also a really good podcast if you haven't been listening or watching to that. From, what was it called? It's the Haunted Objects Podcast with Greg and Dana Newkirk. Love them. So I'm picturing this chair. I don't know, kind of like, how do we even draw a chair? See, this is the thing that's like, it's good this is good for me, but it's also bad because it's like, how do you even draw a big chair, you know? It's like gets me out of my comfort zone, but at the same time, I'm like, what does a chair even look like? We got the armrests here. Let's do that. Like upholstery, I guess. Here and here and here and here. And this. I don't know what this is, but it's the bottom of the chair, obviously. And then they see like a shadow around it. That's kind of cool, kind of creepy. I wonder if that old man, that hobbling old man, ever saw or felt anything, because he, like, obviously the vibes were nice for him if he decided he had to buy it, or maybe the chair, like, maybe it was the chair being like, buy me. Like the chair, did you guys see the Conjuring 2? And the guy's like, this is my house. Get out of my house. He's just very mad. I mean, honestly, I would be the same. I mean, if I owned a house and then died in the house and people were all up in my house, I'm already like that anyway. Get out of my house. Magenta. Ooh. Like, also just like, I think a bold choice for an old man. Usually they go for like less flamboyant colors, in my opinion, in my experience. But we're giving it a go. Would you guys buy a haunted chair? Or would you not buy it because it's magenta in color? I think I'd probably not buy it if it was magenta, to be honest. I'm not interested in that color, really. In this color. It's not my jam, not my vibe. More of a forest green girl. I'm just coloring this in because I'm just having fun. I don't know about you guys. Do you guys do anything fun for... Do you do anything for Friday the 13th at all? Or just another day? Maybe I'll watch something spooky later. I don't know. I've been really into rewatching Smallville because it's just on Netflix now. I have almost all of it on DVD, but there's just something about being able to let it go, let it run. That's really nice. And like just those early seasons too. So good. And you see a lot of very 2000s-y fashion, because the first season was 2001. So if you're into that, like I lived it, so I'm not as interested in going back to those looks, but if you're younger and you're thinking I'd like to see more of like authentic Y2K fashion, you should check out Smallville for sure. I don't know. I'm liking this one. Right. What else do we have? Oof. I was like, do I have a magenta marker? Probably not. It's not my color. Let's see. Well, I've got this purpley one. Let's see. Is magenta more... Well, that's kind of nice. Purple, do you think? Or is it more pink? I feel like it's more pink, but we're going with... Oh, there's Winston. We're going to go with some purple shadows here. Winston is trying to get into the box with Ned. Ned seems uncomfortable, but he does love Winston very much. There's just not a lot of space. We'll see what happens here. You trying to escape, bud? Yeah. Let's do some little, like, pin tucks, like, you know, when you have the buttons in there. Hi, bud. Thank you for sitting right there. It's really helpful. I appreciate it. That's good. Just gonna color in the shadow. Let's see what we got. That's dark purple. Looking for a blackish color. Blue. That's brown. Winston, are you helping? Are you helping? What's that? That looks black. Can you guys still see, or should I move him? Or are you enjoying watching the cat more, which I would totally get. Hi, bud. You're funny. You are. You guys have seen those the videos where they're like, the wait for the box is so much time. This is what's happening right now, I think. Is like, Winston's like, I'd really like to be in the box right now, and Ned's like, no. You guys want to hear me talk about scary stories? Are you having fun? Yeah? Okay. That's good. At least you are. Let's go. I need another marker. Let's see. Excuse me, bud. Sorry. Oh, this one's kind of janky. Just getting right in there, huh? Excuse me. Well, I think we're going to stop here for the second story. I had a good time drawing that magenta chair. Here you go. What do you think, Winston? Good? I think he likes it. Okay, story number 3. That'll probably be the final story. And then we'll wrap it up. Okay, this one is a little bit of a longer one. It also involves a haunted painting. So I may or may not draw it. There are pictures of it that I'll add in when I get to it. Let's see. So this was actually written by someone who has deleted their account. So I don't know the name of the Reddit user. It says, I'm being haunted by a painting that I bought at a thrift store. Okay, so I've been familiar with the paranormal page here on Reddit for a while, but have never posted until now. I'm hoping that somebody out there can help me figure out what is going on in my house and how to stop it. I've always been a skeptic, but my experience with this painting has led me to believe that there's spirits out there, some of which are not exactly friendly. Let me give some context. I regularly go thrift shopping in my small town in Ontario, Canada. About 3 weeks ago, I went into the Salvation Army to pick up some vintage finds. I sometimes go into the housewares and art section to see if there's anything worth picking up to resell. That's when I saw it. I had always been interested in creepy, unsettling, and dark things, and this painting immediately caught my attention. It was as if it was begging me to take it home. I was overwhelmed by the sense of urgency. I needed this painting now for whatever reason. The more I looked at it, the more I discovered new details. It was not a particularly nice painting. It has a very unrefined feel to it. But it was not the style that drew me in. It was the subject matter. It was so odd. Now I just feel like I'm telling you a story, and I think you're enjoying it, aren't you, Winston? I ended up adding the painting to my cart and continued to shop around. The painting ended up costing me only $2, which I considered a deal since it came in a relatively nice, older frame. I had it in my room for a couple of days before I noticed strange things happening. I live alone in an apartment, and it's generally quiet and peaceful. This all changed by the third day that I owned the painting. At first, harmless things were happening. I thought nothing of them. Instances included cupboards opening, things falling, lights flickering. I just attributed the cupboards opening to me being forgetful, things falling as me not properly putting things back, or the light bulbs as needing replacing. By the 6th day, the nightmares started happening. In my nightmares, some dark figure approaches the side of my bed from my closet while I'm stuck in some sort of sleep paralysis, not being able to do anything while it comes towards me. It gets closer until it's at the side of my bed. It looks at me while I'm frozen. I say looks in quotation marks because it doesn't have eyes. If I could give some sort of comparison, this thing, whatever it is like the monster out of The Grudge. I've had this recurrent dream 5 or 6 nights since I got the painting, all with the figure from the painting coming to visit me. After the first nightmare, I knew that these incidents had something to do with the painting. The energy coming off of it was just dark, and it got darker and darker until I was so uncomfortable that I moved the painting out of my room. Okay, so here's where things get even weirder. I decided to investigate the painting further and take it out of its frame. As soon as I took it out of the frame, this smell enveloped my house. The painting never smelled prior, and it was only when I removed the glass and wood frame that the stench of sulfur came over everything. It was putrid. Then I immediately noticed the back of the painting. I've attached the images of the front and back. I don't think I really need to say anything more about the back of the painting, other than it's kind of terrifying. After the 5th or 6th nightmare, I've lost count, I moved the painting to the basement storage locker at the bottom of the apartment complex. The dreams have stopped, but the cabinets opening and stuff like that is still happening. Something else started too. I sometimes wake up in the middle of the night to hear what sounds like scratches at my front door. When I go and investigate, there's nothing there. I've asked my neighbors, but they don't hear anything. In addition to the paranormal occurrences, my health has also taken a hit since I got the painting. I've been feeling unwell, run down, and depressed all the time. I tried telling people about it, but no one really believes me. The only one who said anything that makes me feel like I'm not crazy is when my dad comes over and took a look at the painting. The first words to come out of his mouth were, "Damn, that's dark." The painting itself has a very odd subject matter. This is what I see. Please let me know if you see anything different. There is a dark figure sitting in a wooden chair, staring into a mirror with its hand on its head, almost as if in shock. In the mirror is not the person's reflection, rather another dark figure standing. It almost looks like its hands are cut off. The arms are long, and there looks to be blood on the mirror, or it could be something else. The walls are cracked and show plaster. There are also scratch marks with the same red as the mirror on the walls. I'm wondering if this means that the person in the chair is trying to escape. There's also a box, which kind of reminds me of a Dybbuk box, which, if you do watch the Haunted Objects podcast, they've debunked those, and they are not real. So they say, there is also a box which kind of reminded me of a Dybbuk box in the corner. Possibly the most disturbing part is the upside down family portrait. I have no idea what it all means. So that's my story. Hopefully someone can give me some advice on how to remove the spirit from disturbing my home and my dreams. If anyone has anything else that they notice about the painting, any details I might have missed, please let me know. Also, the artist is unmarked. There's no date either. If anyone has seen any similar paintings in style or content, please let me know. I want my life to go back to normal. There will also probably be people who say throw it out or burn it, and I would. But I have this irrational fear that whatever spirit was in the painting will get even angrier. Thanks in advance for any comments or suggestions. I greatly appreciate any help I can get. There's a couple of comments under here that I kept, so let's see what they say. This one's from Troll City Bandit. This is from like 7 years ago, guys. This one says, start sleeping with it under your pillow at night. Let it know you aren't afraid. And the next comment's from Tapari. I know someone who went through the same thing you describe here, only instead of a painting, it was a doll. Same setup, went to a thrift store, saw the doll, it caught her attention and lured her in to buy it. Put it in her room and felt scared, stared at, and uncomfortable. I slept over at her place and felt the same thing. She eventually also put it in storage, and the feeling watched and her energy sucked out went away. Last thing I heard about it is that it's still in storage, but whenever she goes into the storage and sees the doll, it's like it speaks to her and asks to be brought back up. I honestly don't know what you could do except get rid of the painting. Some of its influence on you and your home might already need some serious cleansing. I do know that you probably shouldn't give it to anyone or throw it away anywhere where other people could find it and maybe take it home, setting them up with the said problem. And then they say, I wish you the best and hope things work out for you. Yeah, those comments, not that helpful. What would you guys do? Would you buy a painting in a thrift store if it made you creeped out? I don't think I would. I don't know. I also do think that, like, the energy you give to something is what you're gonna maybe get reflected back. So if it does feel creepy, maybe this person, I don't know, 7 years, probably too late, could start giving it feelings of like calmness and love, and maybe that would be better, and it would eventually switch. Anyway, I'm going to show you the pictures of the painting now. And yeah, I don't think I need to draw that one because I'm just showing you the pictures of it. And I hope you had fun. Hopefully we'll do this again. Use the creepy Goodwill Ghost for good measure one more time. And the spooky magenta chair. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and see you in the next one.